Welcome to Archery Rampage from Red Frog Archery. This is a short introductory video to basically talk about the products that we offer for archery tag and why we offer the products that we offer as opposed to what other companies are proposing to supply. So if we first of all talk about bows, so most companies are using standard recurve bows. These tend to be a bit longer, so these are like 6 to 8 inches long. This particular one has a wooden handle and wooden limbs. The disadvantage of this type of bow is that being bigger, it's heavier, it's more cumbersome. So for younger players, these can be a little bit too big for them. The other thing is that this type of bow is a handed bow, so this particular one's for a right-handed archer. Obviously, if you have a left-handed archer, you need to have a left-handed bow, so you'll have to keep stocks of both right and left-handed to accommodate your clients. Bear in mind that about 10% of people are left-handed, so you'd have to have a split. So that really will involve you in buying probably 10% more bows than you normally would to ensure that you're going to have enough should any left-handed players come to your venue. The other disadvantage of this type of bow is that being a wood limb, they are susceptible to twisting and warping if they're not stored properly or if they're exposed to various temperatures or they're exposed to moisture. Although they do come with a finish on them, they can get wet, and basically when they warp, you have to throw them away and start again. They're just not going to work for you. The other type of bow you'll find is another recurve. This one, however, has a metal handle. This has the same handing issue that you'll have with other products. Again, the limbs are wooden, so they again will have the problem of warping and twisting. In addition, because this is a painted metal finish on the handle, obviously in the heat of the game, people can run into each other, things get knocked off each other, so what you'll find is this paint can chip and very quickly the look of the product will degrade. So it won't keep its looks throughout its lifetime. The next one is the bow that we use. This is what we term as a mono bow. So whereas the other ones have bolt-on limbs that come off, this is a one-piece bow. It's very light. It's shorter than the other bows, so it's not as cumbersome. Allows players to run around more. The other thing with it is it's an ambidextrous bow. You can see that it has a shoot window on either side, so this bow can be shot right or left-handed. So therefore you're not going to have to stock more bows than you actually need. It's also made entirely from glass fibre. So whereas the other bows you have to be careful how you store them, etc., you could literally keep this in a puddle underwater for months, take it out, and it'll still shoot. It won't have warped, it won't have twisted. So it's a very resilient bow, it's lightweight, it's ambidextrous, and it's ideal for commercial venture in archery tag. Soft-headed arrows are very important in archery tag. There are basically different types in the market. You'll have these, for example. We have a round tipped and we have a barrel head. Round tips are cheaper. However, this particular arrow has a fixed head on it. So in here there's a plastic disc, and this is moulded onto that disc. If the head gets damaged, which it can do just through wear and tear, then you have to throw the whole arrow away. Glass fibre, plastic flights. These are one-piece plastic flights, and you've got your knock at the back as plastic. These are all susceptible to damage over time. But in this particular arrow, none of it's replaceable. You have to just completely throw the arrow away and start again. The type of arrow we use is what's called a barrel head. So on this particular arrow, the nocks are a push-in knock, so these can be removed and replaced should they become damaged. The flexions are individual. If they get detached, each one can be individually glued back on. Most importantly, the head on this particular arrow is a screw-on head. So these can be sold as spares, yeah, and they basically screw on to the end of the arrow. So you can see there's a plate on the end of this. That's to spread and absorb the impact forces, and the head just screws onto that. So there's no glues involved. You just screw one off, screw the replacement back on, and the arrow's all ready to go again. Again, a very important part of archery tag is protective masks. So this one is made from lightweight plastics. It has a shatterproof polycarbonate lens in the front to make sure that it doesn't get broken in gameplay. It has a little skip here which will deflect arrows if hitting the head. Also, if you're playing in bright sunlight, it gives some shade to the eyes so that you can actually see better. On the back of it, you have an adjustable strap, and you'll see by the elongated front on it that it protects both the forehead at the top, obviously full face, and the throat. Now that's a standard mask, and that's ideal for people who are not wearing large spectacles. You can see I am wearing glasses here, and I actually have to take these off in order to put the mask on. Yeah. These masks have open grills at the bottom, so you won't get condensation on the insides because you've got all this ventilation both underneath and at the front here. Inside the mask also has padding here around the eyes to make it comfortable to wear. If you're shooting a game 10 minutes, you know, it'll be more than comfortable the whole time. And you can see as well that the mask is flexible, it's supple, so it will adjust to various head widths. So coming back to the glass wearers, we do an extra wide mask. Again, this one has the elasticated adjustable headband, flexible on the sides, padded protection around the eyes. And when I put this one on, you can see that I can still wear my glasses underneath these. So that's the alternate, and it's always worthwhile having maybe 10% of your stock of these available for non-glass wearers. Both of them are made of tough ABS plastic, same thing as used on car bumpers. So again, even on this one, you've got the shatterproof polycarbonate lens. So gives full protection to the wearer. So the eagle-eyed amongst you will see that I'm now wearing an arm guard, so much for continuity. The arm guards are there to prevent what's called string kiss. So string kiss is, you know, you pull the bow back, you release the arrow. If your arm's turned in, as it's likely to be with people playing archery tag because they're not archers, then the chances are that you could actually catch your elbow, and it can be quite painful. So as a duty of care, we always say to anybody running archery tag events that they have the arm guards on all the players to make sure nobody suffers any injuries. This particular one we like because it's a very tough ripstop nylon. It has very large catches, and you can see I just have to squeeze into the sides and the release. And it gives full protection, very hard wearing, very long lasting, as opposed to some of the cheaper ones that are on the market. So in archery tag, one of the objectives, apart from hitting your opponents, is to try and knock the centres out of their target. So the targets are a lightweight foam. They come with feet so they can sit on the floor, and they have removable cores, 5 of them, which you can see there. So the idea is that when you hit them with your arrow, you knock the cores out. So the team who manages to knock all 5 cores out of their opponent's target within the time period of the game would be deemed to have won. Or you can score points each time you knock one out. You can score points when you hit opponents. It's just another means of scoring and a visual cue for players to see how well they're doing within the game. So the bunkers themselves, the inflatable bunkers, are made from a 0.6 gauge vinyl. They are heat welded on all the seams, so you won't get any air loss out of these. As I say, they do come in different sizes. This is what's termed as a large tombstone because it's kind of tombstone shape. That took 3 minutes to inflate, and what we use to inflate it are little portable 240 volt inflators which look like this. So you have a hole at one end and a hole at the other end. Depending which end you put the hose in, it will either inflate or deflate for you. They're 240 volts, very efficient, and probably if you were to have several inflatables, you might need 2 of these, but certainly if you've got 7 or 8, it's going to take you 20 minutes or so to blow them all up using one of these. So for inside use, you can see I have partially inflated this. This allows it to then sit under its own weight. If you are having them outside, you can then fully inflate them and you use tie downs. Now if I just turn this over for you, you can have a look at what they look like. So this is a tie down. You can see it's an integral part and it's heat welded into the structure, and it has an inflatable bungee cord on it that you can use to tie it down with tent pegs. When it's deflated, this will roll up into just a little ball, so you don't need a lot of space to store them, and because they're made of vinyl, they are just a wipe down. The printing on them will stay on there, it won't rub off, maybe over a long period of time, but you know, look after them and the printing will stay on there as well. We've produced several inflatable sets now in standard colours for various clients, and you can have these in any combination that you like, and we can print them fairly large as well in full colour. All we need from you is the basic artwork.